Happy Wednesday. How amazing was that intro? We spent about 2 hours making that, and it finally worked out. Listen, folks, National Signing Day, we're going to have a guy here in a second who had one of the best tweets, best crafted tweets that I've seen. The ink is now dry, but the conversation goes on late into the night. Bryce Koon, it's a signing day special here on the Crowded Booth. We're going to have you covered from all the way up in Athens. We're going to have Palmer Toms on the show from over in Auburn. Will Mannis is going to talk to us a little bit about hey, the Tigers, they did get a steal, a couple flips there late to salvage a class, and then we're going to talk around the Chattahoochee Valley. And I'm going to ask Palmer about a guy who hails just down the road from us that might be a 2022 guy. We'll see. But we're going to bring in Palmer here to begin it. Let's bring him on. Palmer, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. I'm glad you liked the tweet because I really liked that intro.
Listen, the intro took a long time to put together, maybe not as long as the tweet that you have that you put together, but I'll ask you this. We're going to start off. We're not even going to talk about National Signing Day. You and I were texting. I won't relay the details of the text, but it's safe to say Georgia was not picked to beat Auburn last night in the basketball game. You cover them for Dogs 24/7. Were you surprised at how well they played?
I was surprised. You know, I think the thing with this Georgia team is that they lack confidence sometimes, and you see it especially early on in games. If Georgia gets down, if the shots aren't falling early, they're not confident and they're not going to play well. Well, the shots fell early and they played well last night. You look at the early stretch there by Ty Fagan, who had first 7 points for Georgia. They were up 10-2 in the blink of an eye, and you know that they led the entire way after that. You know, they never lost the lead. The Auburn cut it down to, I believe it was 2 at one point. Several times it was one possession, but Georgia withstood a run from the Tigers and pulled away for a nice win there.
It was surprising. I was watching it with an Auburn fan, and it was very interesting to see coming into the game some of the quotes from the Auburn players, or after the game, I should say, maybe we overlooked them a little bit. Tom Crean was proud of the way it's hard to win on the road. Not even talking about COVID, it's hard to get a road win in the SEC. And with the 2 games coming up being winnable games, who knows, the Dogs could get to 500. But I think if you're a Georgia basketball fan, you never want to get too far ahead of yourself. Like you just are happy with the win, and then let's move on. But Palmer, the ink is dry on a lot of these national letters of intent. I love the tweet. Obviously, Terrion Arnold is not destined to come to Athens. Talk me through, because I heard there is a guy, and you mentioned him, his name, The Bear, is going to be headed to Athens. Wrap this whole signing day up. I know it was an interesting class. They already had a lot of early enrollees, so it's kind of just putting in some of the polishing, finishing touches, right?
Yeah, they didn't do anything for 2021 today. Like you said, Terrion Arnold was the big storyline, and he heads to Alabama, decides on the Crimson Tide over Georgia. A lot of factors playing in there. He's a guy that kept that close to his chest. He didn't really, I think, across the board, our Auburn or our Alabama site was ready to post the story on him. Georgia site was ready to post the story on him. Florida was in the contention. I think that they ended up not sending a national letter of intent is what I had heard. And so they were out of the running really. And so it really came down to Georgia and Alabama. Obviously, Georgia fans are going to feel that, especially when if these two teams meet and Terrion is a factor for the Crimson Tide in the darker shade of red. But looking at this class for Georgia, there's nothing to be ashamed of. First off, you lose out to Alabama, who's put together the highest rated class of all time. Historically, this tops the 2010 Florida class. This Alabama class is going to have to put up numbers on the field and put up production that'll top that 2017 class that Nick Saban brought in there that brought home 2 national championships. You look at the players that were in that class for the Crimson Tide: Tua, Mac Jones, Najee Harris, Devontae Smith. The list goes on and on and on. They won the championship in 2017 over Georgia, and then they ended up coming and getting it in their senior year. They beat Georgia that season as well, and roll on to an undefeated regular season and undefeated national championship run. So, looking at Georgia's class, they're currently sitting at number 3. Will stay that way as long as LSU does not sign Brian Thomas Jr. If LSU does, the Bulldogs will slip down to 4. But no shame in being number 4 in the country. If you're number 4 in the country, you're making the playoffs. Yeah. So I think Georgia fans should be happy here. You look at the last couple of classes, and actually, thinking back to June. I was reading through our message boards then. People were very upset, thinking this Georgia class is not going to be what everyone thought it was. Especially, you think back to when James Williams decides to go to Miami over Florida, or Miami over Georgia. Mm-hmm. And, people were freaking out. Hey, we're not getting this guy. We're not getting that guy. Georgia fans should be really happy with this class. It fills a lot of needs. It's Kirby Smart's, assuming it stays number 3, it'll be Kirby Smart's 5th straight top 3 class. If it slides down to 4, you can put 5 straight top 5 classes, top 4 classes. And the only time he's been outside of the top 5, he was at number 6, and that was his first season. Mm-hmm. Really wasn't even his class. He was kind of bringing in Mark Richt guys and signed them, but so that'll go under his name. But his first, really, if you look at his classes that he's brought in, the guys that he's recruited and the guys that he's signed, they've all been top 5 classes. Like I said, 16 early enrollees, 20 guys overall. This mm-hmm. class meets a lot of needs that Georgia fans should be really happy about.
You talk about some of those needs. Obviously, there's going to be some guys, some big-time guys that'll be on the defensive side of the ball. But I wanted to get into this conversation because the hype around Arnold was one of those where people were like, there's a need at defensive back, especially with the exit of the 2 corners early, and also Tyreek Stevenson heading to Miami. When you look at defensive back, there's some guys already on campus with some early enrollees, and a guy that Georgia fans did not get to see in Kelee Ringo that could fill some of those voids. Who are some guys on campus that are going to have an opportunity to spring practice to really kind of vie for some spots back there?
Yeah, you mentioned Ringo. He's essentially a freshman next year, given the fact that he missed his entire first season on campus, given with, torn labrum injury that he suffered in high school, just re-aggravated it during fall camp, during his time at Georgia, and ends up missing the whole season. He was practicing by the end of the year. He was dressed out for the Peach Bowl against Cincinnati, did not play. So, I think looking back at that, he was the number 1 cornerback his year, 5-star guy there. You gotta pencil him in for one of the spots at corner. When you lose 3 guys at corner, they really 4 if you want to include Tyreek Stevenson, who started the Peach Bowl there. They're going to be counting on Ringo. You look at the early enrollees, Nyland Green is the other guy you would look to. He's probably fighting for a spot with Jalen Kimber, who was a freshman this past year as well. But Georgia's probably going to hit the transfer portal for a DB. Mm-hmm. I think that they'll hit the transfer portal for at least 1, maybe 2. And they've got the spots to do that. And you look at the fact that they signed 20 guys, you're allotted 25, so they've got spots left there. They've got scholarships left, and they've got spots in the secondary. When you lose Stevenson to transfer, Webb at star, Stokes, Campbell, DJ Daniel at corner, Richard LeCount at safety, you've got spots in the secondary, and you've got holes that need to be filled. And so, I think there's an opportunity for some of these young guys to get a spot, earn a spot. Nyland Green being, the most notable one. He was a 247 Sports 5-star, 4-star based on the composite, but number 4 cornerback in the country. And he's certainly got an opportunity to earn some early playing time.
There's some guys on the roster that are talented. And another one, if I'm not mistaken, Kamari Lassiter is a guy that could factor in at some point as a young player who knows? I mean, I think that Kirby may have taken the page out of the book that Nick Saban kind of employs is, listen, I don't care how young you are. If you can play, we're going to let you have the opportunity out there. I'm going to throw you a little bit of a curveball here, and I'm just going to ask you to just give me one winner and one loser of National Signing Day. Obviously, Alabama's a great answer, I mean, like you talked about. But for you and your perspective and kind of how you saw the day progress, who's maybe a winner and a loser for you?
That's a tough question.
I know it's like man, Bryce. I wish you would have given me these questions before time.
I'm gonna go with a winner today. I mean, like you said, Alabama is the clear winner. You know that, and you look at the guys that they brought in today. They bring in 2 5-stars. You know that it was them versus history today. It wasn't them versus number 2. It wasn't them versus Ohio State, who ends up with the second ranked class. You know, it was them versus history. And so I am going to go with Crimson Tide, you know, in the fact that they bring in 2 5-stars there. And I think, you know, the loser, and you know what, I'll throw in another winner for you. I think, you know, you look at across the SEC, there were a couple winners. Texas A&M gets LJ Johnson at running back. That's a big addition for the Aggies. Ole Miss brought in a big defensive lineman. I'm blanking on his name. He was out of New Jersey, 2-sport athlete there, playing baseball for the Rebels as well.
300 pounds. I mean, that's a 300-pound guy. Yeah. I was watching that commitment ceremony. I think it was right before Terry and Arnold's. And, I mean, that's a big guy if Ole Miss can haul him and also play a little baseball as well.
Yeah, and then I would say the loser, you know, it's tough for Georgia to be a loser here in the fact that they, you know, didn't, you know, hurt themselves today. But missing out on Tyrion Arnold is really going to hurt. You know, especially given the fact that, you know, it wasn't like he chose a school that they're not going to face. Georgia's, you know, for Georgia to get to the mountaintop, they're going to have to go through Alabama. And if they're going to go through Alabama, they're going to face off with Tyrion Arnold. So I'm going to go with Georgia as the loser today. You know, not a big loser in the fact that, again, they're still finishing as the number 3 class in the country. You know, it wasn't like they lost players, but you know, it does hurt when you miss out on a guy that could come in, contribute, you know, be a factor for his entire time at Georgia, and you miss out on that. And not only do you miss out on it, but you miss out on it to someone that you're going to have to go up against head to head.
Palmer, I've got some Georgia fans in the comments here that they've got some interesting questions. Now, I'm going to filter through some of these for you, but I want to get this one here. This is from Bonsai Tree Guy 1. I don't know who this is. I don't know if he's a follower of yours, but he says, will you admit that Ben Cleveland is better than Cade Mays? As a writer, you can do what you want, but I'll give you the platform and the microphone on this one.
You know, I am going to say, for Georgia fans, I think Georgia fans should be happy with what Ben Cleveland did at Georgia. You know, you look at his career in red and black. You know, he played a lot of meaningful football. And the way that Cade Mays exited and went to Tennessee, I don't think there's a lot of Georgia fans that are happy about that. And are happy with, you know, some of the allegations that he may have brought on to Georgia. And you know, I think Georgia fans, you know, regardless of how they played on the field, DGD.
Yeah.
Ben Cleveland is a DGD.
Yeah. Ben Cleveland's one of those guys that embodies like the kid that grows up wanting to play for Georgia does and then becomes like a folk hero. I'll never forget, and here's a little story. I walk into Zaxby's in downtown Athens, and Ben Cleveland and his girlfriend are sitting there eating, and I look, I'm like, that is – and he's got like 2 Zax Snack plates. And if anyone's watching and doesn't know what a Zax Snack or Zaxby's is, I'm sorry, but the guy's a massive human being. Got one more question for you. It's from Bonsai Tree Guy 1. We appreciate you tuning in. He goes, this might be a tougher one. Now, why did Tyrique Stevenson transfer? Can you give us an answer, or is it just one of those things where he gets the opportunity to go back closer to home?
It's home. You know, it wasn't he knew that he had a chance to play at Georgia this year. You know, you look at, like I said, the guys that leave Georgia, you know, the guys that leave that secondary, there was definitely an opportunity for Tyrique Stevenson to play and to be a very big contributor for this team. You know, I think there was absolutely someone close to him at home pulling him back towards, you know, South Florida.
Yeah, and two, what was interesting, the media outlets in the area, the Coral Gables area, started hinting at this possibly before Stevenson even entered the portal. Listen, there's some more questions. I may just have to screenshot them and send them to you. I don't know if you can see them. But listen, Paul, we appreciate you coming on, man. I hope that you get a good night's sleep after what's a crazy day. And I guess you'll be covering the Dogs on Saturday, correct?
Yes, I will be at Stegman Coliseum covering Georgia and Vanderbilt. Like you said, big chance for Georgia to possibly pick up another win in the SEC. Pick up some momentum. Would be their first 3-game winning streak in the SEC in quite some time. And a chance. You look at these next 2 games, chance to get back to 500.
Listen, it's going to be interesting. I know dog fans who are hoop dog guys. Listen, it's one of those love-hate relationships. But listen, Paul, we appreciate you coming on. We'll have to get you on here soon. Like we said, maybe talk some Georgia baseball as college baseball season. It's February. It's going to happen, and we're excited for it. Paul, appreciate you coming on. Have a great night, man.
Yep, thanks, Bryce.
That was Palmer Thombs. We appreciate him coming on. We appreciate the comments in the section. I'm telling you, I got to filter through some of these questions. But, folks, we are going to play that intro music one more time. We're going to bring in the crew. If you're not watching, if you're watching, please share. Share it with your friends. Walk outside the door. Scream to your neighbor. Let them know what's happening. This is the Crowded Booth Live when we come back. Oh, baby. What an intro video. It gets me going. It gets the blood pumping. Listen, it's nighttime, but the birds are chirping, and it's time to talk some sports. I have no idea where I was going with that. I am, like the kid said in that one movie, I'm all hyped up on Mountain Dew. All right, here we go. Bryce Koon, Ralph Leary, and Will Mannis for an action-packed show. We may go a little bit over time. Ralph's got to get to beddy by, but he'll stay on just long enough. He's just got to turn right around and get in the bed. But listen, Bryce Koon, Ralph Leary, Will, we really appreciate Palmer coming on the show and everything. A fantastic guest, informative. And I'll tell you one thing. I'm plugging it because I do help a little bit out with the same company. But if you're a Dogs fan, you need to go check out Dogs 24/7. They do a fantastic job, wall-to-wall coverage with signing day. And listen, he got to cover a big win that was, I'll tell you, it was part of this just interesting game. And we can talk about it, Will. I don't know if you want to talk about it. I just told Ralph last night, I said, I'm glad I'm not watching the game with Will. He's probably thrown a chair or thrown the TV or invited someone to come in and steal all of his stuff again. I don't know because he was that mad. It was not good. Not good. But listen, I'm excited to have you guys here. I'm excited to talk some sports, some life, some great stuff. If you're in the comments, make sure to leave us a comment. You will be featured on the show unless – the question that I was not going to ask him was who is cuter, Gunner or Brock? And so that would have been an interesting one.
That's a great question.
I'm sorry, Bonsai Tree Guy.
Hey, Palmer's in the comments. Palmer's in the comments. We should just go ahead and answer now.
If Palmer's in the comments, he needs to go ahead and answer. Bonsai Tree Guy 1. If you follow and share this and retweet it, I will bring Palmer on the show on Monday, and that's the first question he'll ask.
Just to answer that one question.
That's just to answer that one. We won't even ask him anything else. But listen, guys, you know what it's time for? It's time for the question of the night. I said question of the day because I thought we were going to be doing this at daytime, but we may have to switch over tonight. The question of the day comes from Ralph the second, the senior man, not the senior. I don't know what I'm saying. Ralph is going to be with this question because we were talking about this an hour and a half before the show started because I couldn't get out of their house. Question of the day. What is the best salad dressing and why? Now, what constitutes a salad dressing? Honey mustard is allowed because it does go on a salad. So that may throw you off, but come on, give it to me one time. Ralph, give me your best salad dressing.
Well, I know Bryce is actually going to hate mine because he's already said he does.
It's horrible.
It's blue cheese.
Oh,
And the
God.
thing is, hold on now. Wait, I will say this. It's only homemade blue cheese that I like the best.
Or B. Merrill's,
Or B. Merrill's.
which, yes, rest in peace. Will, give it to me.
Wait,
Give
what?
it to me big here. Give it to me big. I want to know, what is your favorite salad dressing? And why?
It's honey mustard. I mean,
Oh,
I love honey mustard. I love honey mustard on everything. I mean, if you put honey mustard on anything, I'll eat it. I don't care what it is.
You don't care what it is. I don't care who you are. I'll eat it right there and right now. Come on, boy. All right. I love honey mustard. Don't get me wrong. You give me a nice little chicken tendy salad, and I'll be whipping that thing up in that yellow goodness all day long. But I'll tell you this, a Caesar salad goes a long way. I'm a big Caesar dressing guy. I like to be wined and dined at the local Longhorn Steakhouse, and I like to be taken out and get myself a nice steak. But like first, before the bread, I'm going to have myself a Caesar salad. Sprinkle a little bit of croutons on that baby. Ooh, man. Take me down to the Paradise City. That's all I'm going to say because that is a fantastic, fantastic combination. That is the best salad dressing.
Caffeine before he came on the show.
I'm pumped. I'm
He's
pumped.
got
It is.
a lot of energy tonight.
I was throwing some GIFs or GIFs or Giphies or whatever you want to throw in the group message, and we were rolling. I'll tell you this. We're going to talk some college football. We're going to get some different things, but I'm going to tell you this right now. We may have a special guest come on towards the end of the show to talk a little baseball. I don't know. I extend the invitation. We're going to have to see if it works, if it happens. If not, no, it is not Barry Bonds. It's not King Griffey Jr. So just don't get your hopes up. We're not going that quite viral yet. But listen, question today was the best salad dressing. Ralph with a blue cheese, which means he just likes to eat mayonnaise. Ralph is going to go, or I'm sorry, Will is going to go with the honey mustard. I like it. Will, if I would have taken honey mustard out of the equation, where you rolling?
Ranch.
Are you a Hidden Valley kind of guy?
Basic. Oh yeah, Hidden Valley. Hidden Valley's great. Also, Ken's Steakhouse dressings.
Listen, we
Don't forget about those.
We had this conversation
Thousand Island is the best.
Guys, we've gone down 19 viewers since we've been talking about this, so we need to go ahead and get off this topic right now.
We're a sports show.
We're a sports show. We're not political here. We don't need to get political about the dressings. I'll tell you this right now. I want to get your recap on Auburn, and then I'm going to give you the same question that I gave Palmer, the winners and losers. So let's go and hit on the Auburn Tigers. Now I'm going to read you something off here. It's according to 24/7 because we don't believe in those guys over at the other site. According to 24/7, it's the 30th ranked class in the country, 11th in the SEC. Last year's was 7th. Next year's is already ranked at 20th. Okay. Now, this is Harson's first class. I wouldn't even consider it his first class because he was tasked with about a month's worth of work, if that, I mean, in all honesty, to try to put together a class. The big names out of this class, obviously, are the early enrollees. There's 6 of them. Lee Hunter's already on campus. That's a big body in the middle. And Amari Harvey. Those are the 2 4-stars. And I'm sorry, Demetrius Davis, the dual threat quarterback. Now, I'm not dismissing a 3-star or anything like that, but I'm going to go over to the letter of intent. Auburn signed 10 guys. And the big one for me, Will, you hit on it on the show on Monday, Colby Smith. They needed help on the offensive line. But Tavarish Dawson, had to get that one right, from Lehigh Acres, Florida. They get him. He's an athlete. I don't know much about him. I don't know if Ralph knows anything about him. I'm hoping you know stuff about him because we can talk about him if you'd like. But, Will, talk to me, enlighten me. They also get Gaston. No, I'm just kidding. Juwan Gaston is his name. They get him to flip over in Montgomery over to the Plains. Just give me a brief overview of what this class looks like. Are you pleased with it? Should Auburn fans be hopeful and say, hey, if we can develop some of these guys, this could turn out to be a pretty underrated class?
Yeah, absolutely. That was kind of the point of emphasis for Harsin, was to get guys that you can coach up. I mean, I've said it ever since Gus Malzahn got fired. The entire program, kind of the university, the powers that be, punted on this year's recruiting class. It was already bad. I think Malzahn, had he been retained for another year, would have had it higher than 30. But you got to look when Harsin took over on Christmas Eve. Was his first official day when he was introduced. The recruiting class was number 58 in the country. And just to get it to 30 in just about a month and a week, 5 weeks is incredible to go up 28 spots. You mentioned Tavares Dawson. I think he's going to play wide receiver for Auburn, but he's got the flexibility to play defense. I think that's where a lot of the depth for Auburn they kind of lost some. Another guy that was already on campus, but you could kind of talk about as a recruiting addition is Devin Barrett. He's opted back in for the 2021 season after opting out last year. And he's moving back to running back. If you followed Auburn, you remember him as a freshman. He got some carries, and then he moved to cornerback, and now he's moving back to running back to help strengthen that running back room. But, yeah, like I said on Monday, the biggest one here is Colby Smith, offensive tackle, the first offensive tackle high schooler signed by Auburn since the 2017 class. But all these guys, they're high upside guys. Very excited to see how they develop over the next few years because I think Auburn, especially on the defense side of the ball, has some really great coaches, some really great developers.
If they can develop, that's going to be the key going forward. One of those in the class just down the road from us over at St. Anne Pacelli. Ralph, I'll kind of let you guys tag team this one because Ralph's over the area recruiting. Will, you're over Auburn. We talked about Matthews. He's a raw talent. He's got the size. If they can get him, with a great D-line coach, and that was what Auburn fans were hoping for. We were talking about. If Rodney Garner can work with this guy, it's going to be fantastic. Ralph, first off, kind of give me a scouting report. What does Matthews look like and what we've seen him? And then Ralph, or Will, tell me what he can be if he can get some great coaching.
Well, at first you look at him, he's a big body. He's massive. He's got a lot of upside to him. He's got a great first step. He's very strong. He obviously didn't play a lot of big kids in high school. He played 1A. I know we talk about it a lot. But at some point, when you have a guy who's 6'5", 290 pounds in high school, it doesn't matter who you're facing. He's going to dominate kids no matter who he plays. And I know Will's going to talk about this, so I'm not going to go into much. But he's a guy who can play stand-up D-end. He can play down-low D-tackle where Auburn's going to put him. He could possibly play outside linebacker, but obviously not, in coverage. I've never seen him play coverage because he played, D-tackle, D-end in high school. So
he did play kind of that hybrid role. He used his brute strength a lot to get around and get through players, I should say. Will, if given the proper coaching, and let me get the size on Ian Matthews.
6'5", 290.
Yeah, 6'5". I mean, that's a big guy. That's what Ralph was saying. He's a big guy. If taught the proper technique, this guy could be a monster on the front seven for the Tigers.
Yeah, I think he's going to play on the line. Auburn's probably going to be a base 3-4, so 3 down lineman. He's going to be one of those 3, I think. And the new defensive line coach, Nick Eason, there's not a whole lot of people that know a ton about him. I'm one of them. I'm trying to learn about him as I go. He's coming from the NFL, so he's a great teacher. I mean, I think it's a big plus anytime you can get a coach to come from the NFL back down to college and work with college kids. So future is very bright for Ian Matthews. I mean, I think he's got a good teacher in Nick Eason, and we talked about his size, all the potential in the world.
He's got all the potential in the world. Another guy in the Chattahoochee Valley area, Joko Willis. We talked about him. Yeah. He's a junior 3-star linebacker that was once committed to – he's a JUCO player, a 3-star linebacker that was once committed to Kentucky. Tanner Glisson and company, they've done a good job of sending guys over to the Plains. Ralph, I don't know. I know we didn't get to really see this guy play, but from what you're talking about, he's a physical guy. He's standing over there at 6'3", 215, an inside guy, but he's shown the ability to play the outside. And Will, too, walk me through it again. What could a guy like that do, and how much did he wreak havoc? And then Will kind of – and I know, Ralph, I'm asking you to go off the cuff here with this, but Will, and Will, what could he mean for a linebacking core that was kind of decimated last year and needed some leadership? And he is, like I said, a JUCO guy.
Well, I think, Bryce, when you talk about decimated linebacker crew, this adds another body to Auburn. So that's big for them in general. Watching some of his tape that I've watched a little bit, I know I'm not watching his high school tape anymore because, obviously it's been two years ago. He seems like he's very fast. I think he's a great downhill guy. He can also, back up and cover people. I think he's going to be a pretty good, pickup for Auburn. I know he will bring in a lot of veteran help for that linebacker crew.
He will bring a lot of veteran help. Will, I'm going to come right back over to your face and your beautiful face only. Talk to me about what Willis could bring. He comes from Troup County. They have a good pedigree of sending guys. Walk me through what this guy could mean.
Yeah, Joko Willis. I've seen some of his tape as well. He looks more to be, kind of a hybrid linebacker, going to play a lot in coverage. He's really good in coverage. I mean, if you look at his tape, he's got several interceptions where he's jumping through the roof to catch the ball. Real tall at 6'3". And, with Derek Mason, the defense coordinator, he's more of a secondary type of guy. So he's probably going to be working with him on his coverage techniques. And we're probably going to see Joko Willis all over the field, probably coming off the edge, rushing the passer, covering backs out of the backfield, maybe even see him lined up at safety, because safety is another spot where Auburn looks to be a little thin heading into 2021.
Another flip for the Tigers was Caden Bridges. Will, walk me through. They did get him a flip once committed to Ralph's evil doppelganger and foe, South Alabama, but they do get him to come a little bit farther north. I have no idea what doppelganger is supposed to mean in that sentence. But, Will, I know they were able to flip some guys. They're going to get the transfer in Leota. How big is that one, to get a veteran guy in a transfer? You get Willis, who's experienced, and then you get Leota. Yeah,
Leota he's a bull rushing pass rusher. I mean, if you look Northwestern, they played Purdue. Purdue throws it 40, 50 times a game. Leota lived in the backfield that game. So Auburn in dire need of an edge rusher, and Leota brings that. You had mentioned Caden Bridges. He's going to play safety. I mean, probably 2021, he's just going to be a depth guy. Losing Jamien Sherwood hurts a lot, so that strong safety position is going to be pretty much up for grabs. Not only Jamien Sherwood, but Jordan Peters leaving as well. So there's going to be an inexperienced guy there. It's kind of up for grabs if Bridges is for the taking, I think, if he wants to play.
There's all three of us. We got caught Ralph in the middle of fixing the hair there. I got to let you know, we got to get an intern. Put down in the comments if you'd like to be the official intern of the Crowded Booth. We'll get you a shirt. Guys, show off the shirt. I got you a shirt. Are we right? Are we right?
Yeah. I'm not wearing mine.
Yeah, you're not wearing yours. You're wearing an undershirt for all I care over there.
No, it's a black shirt.
It's a black shirt.
You weren't wearing a black shirt earlier.
There we go. Want to throw this to you before we head to our first and only commercial break of the evening. So wet your whistles because it's going to be a long one. I want to ask you this, guys. Winners and losers. Obviously, like I said, talk to Palmer. Palmer had the default winner in Alabama. An interesting loser for me was Georgia, but I kind of understand it because the guy you lost out on, he went to your immediate biggest competition, and that's a losing situation. So a very interesting take at the first point, but it does make sense. Will, give me, who are your winners and losers from today, aside from rankings? Kind of what are you looking at? Who had a big day? Who didn't?
So I'm obviously biased, and I'm going to take Auburn. I mean, to have a new coaching staff, a new head coach, to develop those relationships, to get guys to sign, to get guys to come in, and I know you didn't want to hear about rankings, but to jump up the rankings like they did is big. I think that just points to an extremely bright future for Auburn on the recruiting trail, trying to get back into the top 10 and be more consistent in the top 10 to try to bridge that talent gap between Georgia and Alabama.
And who is your loser? I apologize. I did not get that one from you. Or you want me to go right to Ralph?
Go to Ralph with the winner and come back to me for a little.
All right, Ralph, I'm going to give you a winner. I almost just removed you from the entire broadcast. There you go. Oh. Deer in the background. We got to start decorating that guy. Who is the loser? Or who's a winner for you?
A winner for me? Memphis. Memphis racked up today. If you weren't paying attention to what Memphis did today, they were racking up slowly. One, I'll talk about him later on. He's from around the valley. Another one, Rock Taylor, a Tennessee decommit. Sorry, his offer was pulled last minute. And
very interesting.
Yeah, that was interesting, and that's part of where I'm going to go with my loser later on. But Memphis, they pulled in a lot of great recruits. They even got a transfer quarterback in Peter Parrish from LSU.
Another local guy.
And then another local guy. Memphis is going to be a very good team the next year or two with the amount of great talent they brought in this year.
They brought in some great talent, Ralph, and they already had some decent talent. They put some guys at the next level. I know we have a viewer actually right now that is a big Memphis fan, a good buddy of mine, and so he is excited. He texted me today, said, man, you seen this class, how it's turning out? One of the, we've seen Memphis. They've been one of the schools that all the way back to Paxton Lynch was one of the top group of 5 programs in the country. Did they beat Auburn in the Birmingham Bowl?
No, they did not.
They did not. But that was a very good Memphis squad over there in the American Conference. Will, I'm going to hop all the way back over to you, right? Like this. I'm sorry, like that. Now go ahead. Who is your loser?
I'm going to go Oregon. Oregon they got a top 10 class. They're currently number 6 according to 24/7, but they have 0 5 stars. They're the highest ranked team with 0 5 stars.
Hmm.
19 4-stars though. But a team like Oregon, with all kind of resources, kind of running the Pac-12 right now, doesn't look great to have no 5-stars. And to stick in the Pac-12, just for comparison's sake, USC has a 5-star. They finished number 8 in the country. So I'm going to go Oregon as a loser.
You're going to go Oregon as a loser. Ralph, do you have a loser? And then, I will give sorry, that was first day talking. I'll give my winner and loser right after you. But who is your loser of the day?
Mine will be Tennessee because they gave up on Rock Taylor at the end. Not just because of him. I think the whole situation with the recruiting has gone downhill because of the coaching change and all of that. I mean, you have guys who are wanting to get out of their national letter of intent. That's just not good. That's not a good look for you right now. Now, you had a lot of guys who stay committed to you, but I don't think they picked up but maybe one person today, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah. I think that was it was a weekday.
Yeah, it was a very weak day for Tennessee and not what they needed. So
it was a weekday because it was a Wednesday and a weekday, actually. So WEAK and WEEK. Wow, man.
One more thing on Tennessee, and it has to deal with Auburn as well. Watch out for Dylan Brooks. He's requested to be released from his national letter of intent.
Cody Brown, too.
And yes. So they got a couple guys wanting to get out of their NLI. And Dylan Brooks, it's widely believed, should he get out of his NLI, that he will be going to Auburn, a 4-star linebacker. And the latest that I heard was the SEC was kind of pushing Tennessee to let those guys out of their NLIs just with the impending NCAA infractions coming. But we'll see how that plays out.
We're going to see how it plays out. I want to throw this comment over to Tez Lusk. We appreciate you for watching. Little WDE there, big Auburn fan. And another winner and loser. I'm going to throw it out there. My winner, I'm going to go with Palmer, Texas A&M. Jimbo's building something, guys. He gets the 5-star running back out of the grasp of Sarkisian and the Longhorns. That would have been a massive get for them. But instead, the Aggies are a big winner. And I wasn't going to say this, but I was going to say Georgia, but then Palmer was like, it's kind of interesting. When I talk about a loser, I don't want to dog on them, but I'm going to say Florida. Florida has done a lot through the transfer portal, but recruiting, it's not as good as you would think it is for a high-profile program coming off of an SEC title and SEC championship appearance. I'm sorry, SEC East title, SEC championship appearance. So those are my winners and losers. Those are Ralph's winners and losers. And I'm just going to go and say those were Will's as well. We're going to hit commercial, the first commercial and the only commercial. If you're interested in having a commercial here in the Crowded Booth, 30 seconds or less, we've got an affordable price. You're not going to get a better advertising price in town. Yes, we're talking to you, Ralph Leary, Mr. Leary and Brown. We would love to have you on, but we appreciate it. We're going to talk a little bit around the Valley recruiting. We may get to that. We may also get to some baseball. The special guest has confirmed he would like to come on the show, and we're going to bring him on. Will and Ralph have no idea who it is. I'm a little nervous bringing him on live, but we're going to see how it rolls.
Oh, I'm excited. I know who it is now.
Cook's Place began serving our signature hot dogs in 1985 from a cart on Broadway. We still serve the best hot dogs and scrambled dogs in town at the corner of Moon and Miller Road and at the landings. Our friendly staff won't let you leave hungry. Come in and eat to the beat with our 50s jukebox. Cook's Place. Fast service, great people, awesome food. What are you waiting for?
Oh, baby. He's coming on 9 o'clock. He just DM'd me and said, send me that link. Listen, folks, we're going to have him on. It's going to be at 9 o'clock. But, Ralph, I'm going to give you 10 minutes. I'm going to give you the spotlight. Talk to me about some of the signees around the Valley today. We had a great thread going on our website, thecreditbooth.com. If you hadn't checked it out, it's a fantastic opportunity for you to get to know some of the players, small colleges, medium-sized, and big-time football. Hey, it's all college football. They got the opportunity. Ralph, a little bit of surprise. The running back, MVP, Charlie Dixon, heads over to North Carolina A&T. But there were some big signees all the way around. I'll let you kind of go in depth on some of those guys.
Well, yeah, you hit it off there. Charlie Dixon, the 3-star running back from Callaway, chooses North Carolina A&T. His teammates, Demetrius Coleman, the cornerback, he'll be playing DB in college. He chose Chattanooga. And Jalen Shepard, also the defensive back from Callaway, chose West Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Now we had Eli Freeman, who played linebackers, going to Blinn College. And we had LaQuiz Gilbert go to GMC, which is Georgia Military College, if you didn't know. Now they also had about 6 other signees. It felt like the whole entire senior class signed from Callaway. If you watched anything from Callaway today, but I'm gonna move across the street to Troup County. Troup County with their 3-star offensive lineman, Royce White. He is going to Memphis. Well, like I said earlier, Memphis was my winner because they picked up a lot of great talent. Royce being one of them. We've talked to Royce beginning of the year. He's a great talent. He's got a great upside for him. He's a big guy with big. He's just a strong kid. We watched him week 3, I think. Yeah. And one thing he told us is that he wants to turn his team around, and he's a leader. He's a born leader. He's ready to play wherever he wants to, wherever they need him to play. He'll play. He can play tight end, offensive line, and defensive end. Troup also had Marquise Kelly. Instead of going independence, he decided to go to Georgia Military College. That was a big
along with a lot of other guys. I mean, it's going to be a host of players from the area.
Entire Chattahoochee Valley who didn't go to anywhere big was going to Georgia Military College, which is a very great college. Not downsizing at all. Troup's leader on the offensive line, Will Cooley, chose Valdosta. Bryce, Yes. Go Blazers. Balmy Blazers. Joko Willis, obviously, transferred from Independence going to Auburn. He was a Troup County Tiger at one point. Joseph McKay, Central Phoenix City's running back, chose Eastern Carolina. He's committed a few weeks ago and signed today. Obviously, Ian Matthews from Michelli. He's going to Auburn. Kale Gibbs from LaGrange High School. He decided to choose Air Force, the running back. An all-state honoree, one of the great running backs we saw this past year. I think he had close to almost 2,000 yards rushing this year for LaGrange. And those are the main people this year from around the valley.
It was around the valley, indeed. We had a great thread going on, Ralph, with some of the signees. The guy that I was really most excited about to see get the opportunity, and maybe one of the more unheralded, was Will Cooley. We talked to Coach Glisson after that Week 3 game. They went 0-3, and he said, listen, he's a vocal leader. He is just a good presence on the offensive line. And, you played offensive line. You can talk about this. How important is it to have a guy with great communication and just the ability to just say, hey, we're okay. Like, it's going to be all right. We're 0-3 to kind of bring you together, because Royce, Coach Glisson was telling us, is not the most vocal guy. On the other hand, Cooley was.
Yeah. Well, Will Cooley is just a guy who could play all 4 years wherever he goes and be a great talent.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
You got me there a little bit. Will didn't see that, but it's okay. Will Cooley can definitely go out there and play from the start off when if he gets a chance to. I mean, that's all he needs is a chance. He needs a chance to show that he can do what he does best. A guy for like Will Cooley it comes around very often, not very often for you. He goes out there and he's like, you have younger guys on offensive line. They look up to that senior offensive lineman, no matter who it is. It could be your center, your tackle, your guard. As long as he's a senior, you're looking up to him. Those are the guys in front of you. Those are your team leaders. And especially with the center. The center is your leader on the offensive line. He is the only guy who can yell at the quarterback, basically. One of my favorite things I ever learned from playing football is when David Andrews, the center former center at Georgia, and the current Patriots center when he played with Tom Brady, he goes, "I'm the only person in the huddle who can yell back at Tom Brady."
That's got to be a pretty intimidating feature to have, like to know that you have the power to yell at the GOAT. I mean, that's pretty interesting. Listen, you wrap that up in 3 minutes. Will has got something he wants us to play.
How about our guy Charlie Dixon?
Yeah,
going to North Carolina A&T.
Yeah, Ralph, talk a little bit about what Dixon brings to the picture. We do have our guest in, so I'm going to ask you to make it quick. Who is going to talk a little bit of baseball with us?
Oh yeah, so Charlie, a big size running back, 6'3", 225. It's a little bit different, when you look at a kid like this. You would think, okay, maybe he could play linebacker. He'd play a lot in high school, but he's gonna be a running back. I think that's his best position. Honestly, watching the film, watching him in person, especially, he's a downhill runner. He's gonna truck whoever is in front of him. I don't care who you are. You're not gonna run over. You're not gonna stop a 6'3", 225-pound running back running a 4.6 40 downhill at you. But we talk about power. I say power running back, but he breaks off a 90-yard touchdown run out of nowhere, and then in the state championship, he had like 6 or 7 yard carries, and then breaks off a 65-yarder for a game-sealing touchdown to win the state championship. The kid can do it all.
He can do it all. I'm going to bring in another minute countdown. We're going to bring in our guest. I'm nervous. These guys are nervous. This is a heralded baseball expert. who hails from North Georgia. We're going to talk to him when we come back. We got a minute. We're going to play the theme music again, and he'll come on. Oh, baby. It's the 9 o'clock hour. We got Josh Brown on the show. Josh, I sent you a DM. I was like, let's bring him on and talk some baseball. How you doing, sir?
I'm well. How are you gentlemen doing?
Doing great.
I'm doing fantastic. Ralph and Will had no idea that you were coming on the show. We recorded a podcast. It was after dark for a reason. It's not our style, so we're hoping that you keep it PG for the children watching out there, I should say. But Josh, first off, tell me how was the move? You were down now. You're away from Boone. You've come off of the mountain into back into Georgia, correct?
Correct. Yeah, a lot more Republicans here. So they haven't banned smiling in public here in Rockmart yet. So I can walk around and smile at people. The aisles at Ingalls aren't one way. So in Boone, COVID traveled, I think, eastbound down the produce aisle and then westbound down what's that aisle with there's like two aisles. There's the domestic beer aisle and then there's the craft beer aisle at Publix.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
COVID traveled, I think, eastbound down the craft beer aisle, but westbound down the domestic beer aisle. It was just really weird. And so, here, I don't know if it's directional here in Rockmart, but it's just a different world. But yeah, it's good. A lot more smiles, a lot more camo.
Yeah.
I got some camo pants on.
Okay. Oh, all right. All right. I like the camo.
Well, what's funny is in Boone, I think because of my glasses and just the way I dress just in general in Boone, like people thought that I was like, because I guess I look like I'm like a hipster, you know, like, so they like, I kind of look like a Bernie supporter, and then they get to know me and freak out. And in Rockmart, they don't know what to do with me because I look like a Democrat, you know, but they have no idea.
They don't know what to do.
I'm like Bubba, I'm farther right than Rush Limbaugh.
Listen, we appreciate you coming on. We're going to talk a little bit about baseball here over the next 10, 15 minutes until Ralph's got to go to bed and they turn the lights off in his house.
Ralph, are you working the graveyard shift again?
Oh, yes. All morning.
Oh, yeah. Oh, early morning. He's got to get up to deliver the packages at UPS. I want to. We're gonna start off with some Braves coverage because I think this is appropriate because you're on the show. I'm gonna read you a statement. Okay. The Braves will be what this year in 2021? They will be okay. It's going to be a dumpster fire. They're going to be terrible because everyone else got better. Josh, lead us off here with some conversation. What will the Braves be here in 2021?
I can't be serious. You're going to have me on and try to have these serious. I can't, Bryce. You know I can't. I can't
give it to the bloggers. Give it to the baseball bloggers.
Listen, Alex Anthopoulos should be fired because he has the best rotation in baseball. If you go around the horn, you got Freddie Freeman, Ozzie Albies, Dansby Swanson, and then I don't know if they're going to roll out Austin Riley or whatever. I don't know. Outfield, you got Christian Pache, Nick Markakis, and then you have if they sign him back for 5 years, which I'm sure they will. But then you have maybe Drew Waters. In seriousness, they need one power bat, maybe two, maybe two, but probably one. it's like the best team in the NL East. And like Braves bloggers are just like crying in their mother's basements in a fetal position watching CNN. They got 3 masks on. They're just like, who can we be mad at today? Oh my God. Shut up. Like, honestly,
Yeah. It's bad.
Is that why they operate anonymously? Because they're just
No pictures in the profile.
Are we
like
getting
profile?
Did you guys ever watch that show Catfish?
Yeah.
Yes.
Are we
Yes.
getting catfished by the Braves bloggers? I'm just
Tomahawk
saying.
Chop
I don't know what they
Talking
look
Chop
like.
Is just a big Talking Chop is just a big, big
Old,
catfish ring.
oily, like man.
Oily.
Just
I'll throw this out here because we don't want to get political, but Talking
Yeah.
Chop, they should have already changed their name. I'm surprised they haven't because of how offensive that is.
I'm very upset they haven't. So
Will, I know you're a big Camargo guy. Now, Will
yeah.
is a Camargo
Face of the
fan.
Braves.
He's
Face of the
yes,
Braves.
he follows along with Nakahoma's kind
Mhm.
of their motto and everything. Will the
Yeah.
Braves will be what in 2021? They're gonna be okay. It's gonna be all right because they're gonna have a good team still.
I'm debating on how bold I want to be because I'm extremely confident in saying that they will be National League Eastern Division champions again.
Mhm.
And I'm very close. I'm still interested to see how they feel either third base or left field, if they go power bat or not, to say they will be National League champions and finally get to the World Series. Josh, like, you talk about Austin Riley. Everybody wants Marcell Ozuna. But there's a guy.
I haven't heard that. Is that like a did you come up with that?
I think that's
All
a
the-
rumor
all the
mill on
bloggers.
Reddit or somewhere.
I think all the bloggers.
That's
want
I
Marcell
haven't even
Ozuna.
thought about getting Marcell Ozuna. Like that's they should think about getting Marcell Ozuna because he hits
They should.
he
They
has
should.
he has power.
But
Have
before
they
they do that, they need to think very hard about bringing back Adam Duvall, because not only can Duvall,
Wait, did he
Get
sign somewhere,
dingers.
though? Did he go?
No,
did
he's still
somebody
free
sign-
No.
He's still
he's
a free agent. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Not
but he's
only-
a diabetic. Will he's a diabetic?
Oh my
Gotta throw that in there.
I know, but he
You
hits
said-
dingers.
You
He
said
hits
keep it clean.
dingers, and
That's
he
his-
plays defense.
He does.
See,
He
like
does play
Ozuna, because
defense.
they're not going to have a DH. You're going to have Ozuna out there every day, and we know that poor boy
But he's
can't play
like,
defense.
does it make you nervous? He's a diabetic. Like if the insulin, I mean, that's scary. I don't know.
No,
Marcell
no.
Ozuna, I have a hot take. I think he's going to go to the team that gives him the most money.
Ooh,
I don't. That's what I heard.
Breaking.
I don't know.
breaking.
Also, here's a hot take. Here's a hot take for these loser little Braves bloggers in their mama's basements. Marcell Ozuna sucks. Okay, he had a career year last year. Okay,
in 2 months.
let me in 2 months.
2 months.
You know what? You ever watched baseball? Have you guys ever watched baseball?
I've dabbled.
A few times.
Baseball players have had career years since 1874. Okay, Marcell Ozuna is like a average, maybe slightly above average player. He had a career year. Everybody has a career year. I had a career year in 2010. You know what I mean? He had a career year. He's going to hit 247 this year, hit 20 dingers, and suck balls. Sorry, Bryce.
That's okay.
And
that's
suck
okay.
after someone gives him stupid money, and he's got the little yellow thing on his. I don't care about the yellow thing. That's cool. You know what I mean? I don't care. But his defense sucks, obviously. But I mean, obviously, there's the idea of getting the DH on. The DH isn't going to happen this year, but I think it might happen next year. But even still,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Marcell Ozuna is not that good.
Bryce, I don't know
Go
if
ahead.
you're going to ask Josh this, but I want to get his opinion. Josh, I don't
Yeah.
know how closely you follow MLB Network, but they came out with their top 10.
I don't follow them at all. You
Shortstop.
know why? Because it's a premium channel, Will, and I don't pay for that
Oh,
crap. Okay,
Yeah.
I have Hulu, and I'm not going
Hulu
to
has
pay
live
for.
sports.
Hulu has live sports, some of it, except for
Oh,
the Hawks.
fine.
I moved to Georgia. I can't even watch the Hawks. I can't watch the
Yeah,
Hawks.
that's okay. That's all right. Trust me.
yeah.
You ain't
Watch
missing
Hawks.
much.
No.
I used to love
But-
MLB Network, Will, but then I don't have a lot of money. My wife it's a long story. And MLB Network, I loved MLB Network, and then they canceled Intentional Talk, the greatest show ever.
Oh yes.
So I hate that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
they
sorry,
came
go ahead.
out. They came out with their top 10 shortstops, and they omitted Dansby Swanson. They said he's not a top 10 shortstop in baseball.
Honestly, Will, if you asked me that 5 years ago, if I had the baseball acumen that I had 5 years ago, I would have a thoughtful answer to that because I would know the rest of the shortstops. But honestly, what happened was I had a baby last year. Okay. and I don't know what's going on. All I know is the Crowd at the Booth has a podcast. I know Marcell Ozuna is a free agent. I know that the Freddie Freeman plays for the Braves. Like, that's all I know. Like, does Jeff Kent still play? I don't even know who else is a shortstop. Is that Francisco Lindor guy any good? I don't know.
Well, he's a Met now, so
he's a Met.
Yeah.
He sucks. So he sucks.
So who knows?
He's gonna get hurt.
Yeah.
But
Javier
I think
Baez
Dansby
is
Swanson
pretty
is
good.
good.
Javier Baez.
I've heard of that guy. He plays for the Cubs.
He plays with too much flash, so the old, he can't be any good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I love the young. No offense to you guys, because you guys are the realists. But I love the other, like the far left 22-year-olds that are like, they think that people like me hate flash. Like, here comes an old white guy saying stuff about Javier Baez, or when Ronald Acuna flips a bat, they're like, here comes the old white guys. I'm like, bitch, we grew up watching Neon Dion. Okay.
Yeah. Ricky Henderson,
you stupid idiots. You know what I mean? Like, you can actually go to YouTube and watch the 1945 World Series, and you're not going to believe this, but they showed emotion.
Wow.
Like, they jumped up and down and shit. It was crazy.
That's crazy. I got some comments for you from two of your good friends. We got Ken. This is why our podcast is ending. Josh is so famous now, he double books recordings.
Oh, yeah. I'm supposed to be on a call with him or something.
And JT, Josh, what are you doing? Sorry.
Sorry.
I apologize. We can let you go. We'll wrap up the conversation here. Josh, we appreciate you coming on. Let you get to your final podcast episodes, man. But listen, in all seriousness, I've loved listening to Not Culmination. It's been a fun little venture. We're gonna have to have you guys more on here, as I know that's coming to a close here soon. So
yeah,
I appreciate it.
I'm a free agent, so Will, if you want to start something, let me know, bro.
Oh, hey,
you and me, Will.
If that's an invitation, I accept already. I don't even need it. I don't even have to know what it is.
Will's jumping ship. We have mutiny here on the Crowded Booth live. Josh, we appreciate you coming on, man. Go ahead and get involved in your podcast and let it roll from there.
All right, see you guys.
See ya.
Wow. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. Only one curse word. I apologize to my grandmother watching. That's not. I apologize for that. He did well, though. He did well. We appreciate him coming on. Guys, I want to wrap it up right here. I will give you the opportunity Ralph will give you the opportunity. The Braves will be what in 2021? Are they going to be okay? Is it going to be? Is the sky falling?
Well, I mean, I'm going off what Will kind of said, because he said the NL East champ. They're going to be better than the Mets.
There you go.
The Mets have piled up all this talent, but I still think the Braves are going to be better, though.
Yeah. I think the Braves will be better than the Mets, and I think this is a team, and I'll speak directly right on this right here. The Atlanta Braves are still one of the most talented teams in baseball. They are still one of the they're still, to me, the best team, the team to beat in the NL East. When you win it 3 straight years, I mean, you are the team to beat. Every single year we've seen the rankings. Will, you talked about the rankings that MLB Network put out. That's complete garbage. There's no way Ozzie Albies is not a top 10 second baseman. And so I just kind of think that's interesting to see. I'm sorry. I
would also much rather than just rank them on hair, because then Dansby would be number 1. I think Ozzie would probably be number 1. Acuna would probably be number 1. The Braves got some great hair.
They have some great hair. We're going to bring in some more comments. JT Holton, Bryce, call me sometimes. Let's get some New Way. Love you, bud. Listen, I don't know if I love you, JT. I mean, I like you, but love is a very strong word. So we'll have to see how that goes.
JT, next time I come to Macon, I'm gonna text you, JT.
Listen, this show started off very professional and then went completely downhill, and that seems to happen.
I got a comment. Wendell. I got a comment that's not on Facebook.
Okay, I got one. Wendell's hobby's fate is better. Will, go ahead and give me that comment. What is that, and where are we looking at it?
From the lovely Katie Ann Fitz in my text messages. She only watches the Braves for their hair.
Wow.
For Dansby's hair. Let me rephrase that. For Dansby's hair. And she's team New Way all the way. She wants to put that out there.
Team New Way all the way. I'll also throw out my girlfriend, not throw her out, literally. That would be not good. But Hillary Waters, who is watching, I hope still. I know she said she shared it, but we'll see if she's still watching. But Hillary's not a big fan of the glitz and the glamour. She wants everyone to go in there and wants them to do their job and play how as they should. So you know what? It's great. Baseball's coming back. I went to go look to purchase some tickets, got nervous because I didn't know if a season was going to happen. Now I'm going to purchase the tickets. So it's going to be a ton of fun. Guys, this has been fun. We've had a ton of fun. I think we aired the commercial that we're legally obligated to, contractually
We did.
obligated to. We did. If you want to have a commercial, please feel free to reach out at us. Ralph's phone number is, no, I'm just kidding. That would not be what we wanted to do there. But listen, we appreciate everyone
Mailbag
watching.
Monday.
We appreciate the Mailbag Monday. I got it
Mailbag
right
Monday.
here. Right here. Mailbag Monday. Send your questions in or comment below. Put them anywhere. Send them via snail mail. You can do whatever you'd like. We will answer the questions. We were going to have it, but the lovely Nomad Internet decided to crash on myself 2 nights ago. So I had to live at Ralph's house for about 24 hours. Ate well, and it was fine. So we've reached the hour mark. That means the show that's behind us that does not exist has to come on. We appreciate everyone watching. For Will, for Ralph, for myself, this has been the Crowded Booth Live. Make sure to follow, like, and share. Subscribe. Hit that sub button. I guess we should say that. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the sub button and hit the little bell. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
And you
Ring
get
the bell.
notifications.
Ring the bell.
Ralph, I'm going to see if you can get this. But what should everyone do?
Keep their stick on the ice.
Thank you very much.
And
Have a great
boom
night.
goes the dynamite.